Scene 1 asterisk. The morning sunlight filtered through the thick canopy of trees, casting irregular patches of gold and green on the forest floor. 3 friends, Jason, Marcus, and Ethan, stood at the edge of the jungle. Backpacks strapped tightly, faces glistening with both excitement and apprehension. The air smelled rich with damp earth and wild vegetation, a mixture of moss, decaying leaves, and the faint sweetness of tropical flowers. Birds called out, their voices echoing in the stillness, and somewhere far above, the faint rustle of unseen creatures created an undercurrent of tension. Asterisk. Jason adjusted his wide-brimmed hat and squinted into the dense foliage ahead. Alright guys, this is it. The old maps led us here for a reason. Let's hope it's worth it. His voice carried both eagerness and the faint tremor of nerves. Asterisk. Marcus, taller and more muscular than the others, ran a hand through his short hair. Worth it. If the stories are true, this is the kind of adventure people only dream about. Think about it: a hidden river, a lost waterfall, and who knows what else. It's exactly why we signed up for this. Asterisk. Ethan, the quietest of the trio, tightened the straps on his pack and glanced around nervously. He had a habit of thinking through every worst-case scenario, and deep jungles were his kind of nightmare. Still, there was a spark in his eyes, an acknowledgement that even fear couldn't suppress curiosity. Just, let's make sure we stick together. This jungle isn't like any hiking trail back home. Asterisk. The friends took their first step into the undergrowth, branches scratching against their sleeves and legs as they pushed through thick ferns. The sunlight dimmed quickly under the dense canopy, and the air turned cooler and more humid. Every step was careful. Each sound amplified: the snap of a twig, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of a monkey, or perhaps a jaguar. Asterisk. Hours passed, and the friends followed the old river path marked on their map, though in many places the trail had vanished under decades of overgrowth. Jason led the way, using a machete to hack through vines and tall grasses, occasionally pausing to check the map or listen for unusual sounds. Marcus carried a small camera and a field notebook, documenting everything they saw. Ethan, carrying a GPS device and compass, kept a constant eye on their bearings, marking every turn and notable feature. Asterisk. At one point, they reached a shallow stream, water trickling over smooth stones and creating a soothing background murmur. Jason knelt and scooped up a handful of water, examining it carefully before drinking. Fresh water, he said, relieved. Marcus followed suit, while Ethan stayed cautious, filtering the water through a small portable purifier. The friends sat on nearby rocks, eating protein bars and sharing quiet conversation, their laughter echoing strangely in the otherwise silent jungle. Asterisk. The sun was high, but the jungle canopy filtered most of the light, leaving them in a perpetual, soft twilight. The air was thick and heavy, every breath a mixture of humidity and the earthy scent of plants. Suddenly, Ethan stopped mid-step, his hand raised. Asterisk. Wait, do you hear that? He whispered. Asterisk. Jason paused, straining to listen. There was a faint sound, rhythmic and deliberate, coming from deeper within the jungle. At first, it was indistinct, but gradually the pattern became clearer. Low, almost drum-like, thumping, steady and resonant. Asterisk. Marcus frowned. could be an animal. Or someone else out here. Asterisk. The friends exchanged wary glances, but curiosity overcame caution. They followed the sound, stepping carefully through the thick underbrush. As they moved closer, the thumping grew louder, each beat vibrating through the ground beneath their boots. Finally, they came to a small clearing, and their eyes widened in awe. Asterisk. In the center of the clearing was a massive tree, its roots sprawling like an intricate network across the ground. At its base, the earth had been cleared in a perfect circle, and the rhythmic thumping came from within. 3 indigenous drums, each carved from dark wood and painted with faded symbols, were being played by shadowy figures. The friends froze, hidden partially by the foliage. The figures moved in a synchronized rhythm, their bodies swaying in time with the sound. A ceremony that seemed both ancient and powerful. Asterisk. Jason whispered, This is incredible. We're witnessing something nobody else has probably seen in decades. Asterisk. Ethan nodded, his nerves buzzing with tension and exhilaration. We need to be careful. If they notice us, who knows how they'll react. Asterisk. Marcus slowly raised his camera, taking silent photos from their hidden position. The figures didn't seem aware of them, lost entirely in the ritual. The friends watched for several minutes, mesmerized by the rhythmic beating of the drums, the chanting that rose and fell in unison, and the fireflies that danced around the clearing like tiny stars. Asterisk. Eventually, the ceremony ended as suddenly as it had begun. The shadowy figures disappeared into the jungle, leaving behind the faint smoke of small fires and a lingering sense of mystery. Jason exhaled slowly. We can't just stay here forever, but that was unreal. Asterisk. The friends continued their journey, now with an added sense of reverence for the jungle and its secrets. Every step felt heavier, yet more purposeful. The trail grew steeper, the undergrowth denser, and occasional signs of wildlife, a broken branch, a distant roar. The sudden flight of birds kept their senses on high alert. Asterisk. As evening approached, they found a small, natural clearing with a shallow depression, suitable for setting up a temporary camp. Marcus immediately began unpacking the small portable stove and supplies, while Jason and Ethan gathered firewood and set up the tents. The jungle around them seemed alive, shadows shifting, faint noises echoing from unseen corners. Asterisk. Sitting by the fire, the friends shared a quiet meal, the flames casting flickering patterns on their faces. We're deep in it now, Jason said, poking at the fire with a stick. Nothing but jungle around us, and tomorrow. Who knows what we'll find? Asterisk. Ethan nodded, staring into the dancing flames. I just hope the jungle wants us to find it. Some things, maybe they're not meant to be discovered. Asterisk. Marcus smiled faintly, the camera resting on his lap. Every story starts with a little risk, and we came here to find stories. This is just the beginning. Asterisk. Night settled over the jungle like a thick, heavy blanket. The friends lay in their tents, listening to the myriad sounds, the distant roar of a predator, the rustle of leaves, the soft calls of nocturnal birds. Every noise seemed magnified in the darkness, a constant reminder that the jungle was alive and watching. Asterisk. Hours passed, and sleep eventually claimed them, though the dreams were restless visions of towering trees, hidden waterfalls, and the drumming ceremony replaying in surreal, shifting patterns. Outside, the jungle whispered, keeping its secrets close while promising adventures yet to come. Scene 2 * Dawn arrived slowly, the first pale rays of sunlight filtering through the thick canopy, painting the jungle in a soft, almost ethereal glow. Jason was the first to stir, pushing aside the thin mosquito netting of the tent and stretching his arms. Marcus followed shortly, rubbing his eyes and glancing around, while Ethan remained quiet, still adjusting to the heavy humidity of the early morning air. * The friends quietly prepared breakfast, the jungle alive around them with chirps, calls, and the occasional splash of water from a nearby stream. Mist hovered over the foliage, curling around the trunks and branches like delicate smoke. Jason looked at the map again, tracing the route with a finger. If we follow the river upstream, the map shows a clearing where the old waterfall should be. And beyond that, whatever ruins the stories talk about. Marcus adjusted his backpack, securing the camera. I can't believe we're actually doing this. Every step feels like we're walking into a storybook. Ethan, checking the GPS coordinates against the map, frowned slightly. The terrain is harder than I expected. Dense undergrowth, hidden streams, sudden drops. We need to be careful. One wrong step, and we could be in serious trouble. With everything packed and ready, they left the campsite, moving cautiously along the faint trail. The ground was soft and uneven, soaked from the previous night's rain. Roots snaked across their path, and low-hanging vines forced them to duck or push aside branches. Every so often, the air shifted with the subtle presence of something large moving just out of sight. After an hour of trudging through the dense jungle, they reached a narrow stream cutting through the path. Jason knelt to test the water, then stepped carefully on the slippery stones. Marcus followed, documenting each step, while Ethan scouted ahead to ensure the path was safe. The stream widened after a few minutes, forming a small, clear pool surrounded by ferns and moss-covered rocks. Here, the sunlight penetrated the canopy, making the water sparkle like liquid crystal. This is incredible, Marcus whispered, kneeling to dip his hand in the water. The serenity of the pool felt almost sacred, a brief pause in the endless expanse of the jungle. Jason and Ethan shared a nod of agreement, silently acknowledging the beauty and danger of the untamed wilderness. Continuing along the riverbank, the friends began to notice subtle signs of life they hadn't seen before: strange footprints partially submerged in mud, broken branches that hinted at larger animals passing through, and distant sounds of rustling, suggesting the presence of predators. Every sense was heightened, each step taken with a mixture of caution and excitement. By late morning, the jungle grew even denser, the path narrower and more treacherous. Jason led the way, machete in hand, cutting through thick vegetation that had long since overtaken the trail. Suddenly, Marcus froze, pointing at something half buried in the mud. Look at this, he said, crouching down. It was a fragment of an old, rusted compass, its needle frozen in place, partially covered by vines and mud. Ethan examined it carefully. Must have been here for decades. Someone long ago, traveled through here. Maybe explorers like us. Asterisk Jason brushed the mud off his hands, peering at the distant canopy. This place has history, and it's still keeping secrets. Asterisk they pressed on, the sounds of the jungle intensifying around them. Birds squawked overhead, monkeys chattered in the distance, and occasional growls echoed faintly, making the friends pause and listen carefully. The sun climbed higher, filtering through the thick leaves and casting moving shadows that seemed alive. Asterisk around midday. They reached a steep incline, the path turning into a narrow, rocky ridge leading toward the source of the river. Jason led the climb, testing each foothold, while Marcus and Ethan followed, careful not to slip on the wet rocks. The effort was exhausting, sweat soaking through their shirts, muscles straining with each step. Asterisk at the top. The friends were rewarded with a breathtaking view, a hidden waterfall cascading into a crystal-clear pool below, mist rising in a soft haze. Sunlight danced across the water, creating tiny rainbows that shimmered against the lush greenery. Jason stepped closer to the edge, peering down in awe. We made it. This is exactly what the map promised. Asterisk Marcus immediately began photographing every angle, documenting the waterfall from different perspectives, while Ethan set up a small observation point, taking measurements and noting landmarks for navigation. The area around the pool was surprisingly untouched, as if the jungle itself protected this hidden sanctuary. Asterisk after resting and exploring the immediate area, the friends decided to set up a short camp nearby. Jason gathered firewood, careful to avoid disturbing the delicate ecosystem, while Marcus and Ethan prepared a small, temporary shelter using lightweight tarps. Despite the heat of the day, a cool breeze blew down from the waterfall, carrying the scent of wet stone and fresh water. Asterisk as they ate a quick lunch, the friends reflected on the events so far. We've seen things most people never get to see, Jason said, staring at the waterfall. But this is only the beginning. The deeper we go, the more the jungle will reveal. Asterisk Ethan nodded, eyes scanning the thick trees surrounding them. I can't shake the feeling that something's watching us. Not in a threatening way, more like observing, waiting. Asterisk Marcus shivered slightly, though he tried to hide it. Or maybe it's just our imagination. Still, I've never felt anything like this before. Every sound, every shadow. It's like the jungle has a pulse, and we're part of it now. Asterisk as evening approached, shadows lengthened, and the air grew cooler. The friends gathered by the small campfire, the soft crackle of burning wood blending with the distant roar of the waterfall. Nighttime in the jungle brought a symphony of sounds, frogs croaking, insects buzzing, and the occasional distant howl of a predator. Asterisk the friends took turns keeping watch, understanding the importance of vigilance in this environment. Jason stared into the darkness, listening to the layered sounds, feeling a strange mixture of fear and exhilaration. Ethan checked their GPS coordinates and compared them with the map, ensuring they remained on course. Marcus adjusted the camera to capture the nocturnal life around them. Fascinated by the jungle's hidden rhythms, Asterisk sleep eventually came, though fitfully, each friend disturbed by dreams of unseen creatures and hidden paths. Outside, the jungle remained alive and watchful, A world of mystery and danger that stretched endlessly in all directions. They knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges, deeper exploration, and perhaps answers to the questions the jungle had already begun to whisper. Scene 3 *. The dawn mist lingered longer than usual, curling through the jungle like spectral fingers as Jason, Marcus, and Ethan emerged from their tents. The roar of the waterfall from the previous day still echoed faintly in the distance, a constant reminder of the hidden sanctuary they had discovered. Their movements were slow at first, bodies stiff from the previous day's climb and the weight of the jungle pressing down on them. Jason checked the map again, tracing the path ahead with a finger. According to this, if we follow the river upstream past the waterfall, there's supposed to be an abandoned settlement. Could be ruins. Could be traps. Either way, it's the next landmark. Marcus hoisted his backpack and clicked the camera into place. I'm ready. This is the stuff adventure books talk about: lost settlements, overgrown paths, jungle secrets. We're actually living it. Ethan, however, remained cautious. He adjusted his compass and studied the GPS readings. The map's old. The jungle changes. Streams shift, paths vanish, trees fall. We can't assume we'll find anything exactly where it says. Stay alert. With that, the friends began their trek, following the river as it wound through the jungle. The terrain grew more rugged, roots twisting across their path and thick vines hanging like natural curtains. Every few steps brought the faint sound of rustling or the snapping of branches underfoot. Reminders that the jungle was alive and full of unseen inhabitants. After an hour, they came upon a fallen tree, its massive trunk spanning the width of the river. The friends carefully navigated across it, testing each section for stability. Below, the water cascaded over rocks with a persistent murmur, beautiful yet intimidating. Marcus filmed the crossing, capturing the tense moments of balance and precision, while Ethan marked the location on the GPS for future reference. Once across, the jungle seemed to grow even wilder. The canopy thickened, allowing only scattered beams of sunlight to reach the forest floor. Strange vines curled around ancient trees, and bright fungi dotted the damp ground like hidden jewels. Occasionally, the friends spotted subtle signs of other explorers: a carved mark on a tree, a partially buried piece of metal, or faint, weathered footprints. By late morning, the jungle opened slightly, revealing a plateau overlooking a deep ravine. Jason leaned on a large rock, catching his breath. Look at this view. It's incredible. But the settlement should be somewhere beyond that ridge. Marcus raised the camera, framing the plateau and the jagged ravine beyond. This is prime footage. The way the light hits the trees, the way the river winds below. People will never believe we found this. Ethan scanned the ridge with binoculars. We need to find a safe way down. That slope looks unstable: loose rocks, slippery moss. One wrong step could send us tumbling. After careful inspection, they found a narrow natural path that descended toward the base of the ravine. The friends moved slowly, testing each step and handhold. The sound of rushing water below grew louder, blending with the calls of distant birds and the subtle noises of the jungle. Reaching the bottom, they discovered a hidden valley, shrouded in mist and teeming with life. Towering trees with sprawling roots created natural archways, while colorful birds darted through the air. Small streams crisscrossed the valley floor, feeding into the river that continued beyond the waterfall. The friends paused, taking in the scenic landscape untouched by modern humans. Almost like stepping back in time. Asterisk, is it possible anyone's ever been here? Marcus asked, eyes wide with wonder. Asterisk, Jason shook his head. Maybe centuries ago, but whatever it was, the jungle has reclaimed it. Everything we see, it's pure wilderness now. Asterisk, they followed the river upstream, stepping carefully over rocks and shallow water, when Ethan suddenly stopped. Wait, look at this. Asterisk, near the riverbank, partially covered by moss and fallen leaves, were remnants of stone structures. Walls barely standing hinted at buildings long forgotten. Carvings on the stone were weathered but still, visible symbols and patterns that suggested an ancient civilization once thrived here. Asterisk, Jason crouched, brushing away debris to reveal more. This is it. These ruins. They're incredible. Nobody's documented this before, I'm sure of it. Asterisk, Marcus immediately began photographing everything, the camera clicking rapidly as he moved from structure to structure. Ethan carefully mapped the ruins, noting their positions relative to the river and the surrounding trees. The air was thick with the scent of wet stone and vegetation. The jungle's energy palpable. Asterisk, as they explored. Strange sounds echoed through the valley, distant thumps. Faint whispers of movement among the trees. The friends exchanged uneasy glances but pressed on, driven by curiosity and the thrill of discovery. Asterisk, they entered what appeared to be the main building, a partially collapsed stone structure with an open roof. Inside, the floor was covered in moss and fallen leaves. But there were signs of previous human activity, pottery shards, worn carvings, and a shallow pit in the center that seemed to have once held fire. Asterisk, Jason ran his hand over the carvings, tracing the intricate patterns. Whoever built this, they had skill, and their culture. It's completely vanished from history. Asterisk, Marcus lowered the camera, glancing around. It's like stepping into another world. The jungle preserved it. And now, it's ours to explore. Asterisk, Ethan, however, remained cautious. We can't stay too long. We need to document and move on. The jungle isn't forgiving, and the longer we linger, the more exposed we are to danger. Asterisk, despite the warning. They spent hours exploring the ruins, mapping every structure and photographing every detail. As the sun began to lower in the sky, the jungle shifted, the light dimmed, shadows lengthened, and the sounds of nocturnal creatures began to stir. Asterisk, Jason looked toward the river. We need to set up camp soon. The jungle changes at night. I don't want to be caught unprepared. Asterisk, they found a safe clearing near the river, protected by trees and slightly elevated from the water. Marcus set up cameras to capture the nocturnal life, while Jason and Ethan gathered firewood and built a small controlled fire. Asterisk, night in the hidden valley was otherworldly. Frogs and insects created a chorus that pulsed around them, while distant roars and rustling leaves reminded them that the jungle was alive and alert. The friends ate a simple meal, sharing quiet conversation and reflecting on the day's discoveries. This place. It's like a dream, Jason said, staring into the fire. Unexplored, untouched, alive. We're living an adventure most people only read about. Ethan nodded, eyes scanning the dark jungle beyond the firelight. And yet, we have to respect it. The jungle is beautiful, but it's also dangerous. One mistake and it won't hesitate. Marcus smiled faintly, camera in hand. Every second out here feels like we're part of a story being written in real time. And I don't want it to end. The friends settled into their tents, the jungle's sounds surrounding them like a living blanket. Sleep was elusive, filled with vivid dreams of stone ruins, hidden waterfalls, and unseen eyes watching from the shadows. Outside, the jungle whispered and waited, keeping its deepest secrets just out of reach, promising that the adventure was far from over. Scene for the morning air was thick with mist, clinging to the jungle like a damp veil as Jason, Marcus, and Ethan emerged from their tents. The river whispered beside them, its waters reflecting the soft light of dawn filtering through the canopy. The valley they had discovered seemed even more alive in the early hours, with dew sparkling on leaves and small animals scurrying through the undergrowth. Jason stretched and looked at the map, tracing the next leg of their journey. According to this, the main ruins extend further north, past the ridge and into a series of caves. If the map is accurate, there's a large chamber with carvings that nobody has documented before. Marcus tightened the straps on his backpack. Caves, carvings, hidden chambers. It sounds like the kind of thing explorers dream about. Let's go see if it's real. Ethan, ever the cautious one, double-checked the GPS. We'll need to move carefully. Caves can be dangerous loose rocks, hidden drops, and possibly wildlife. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. They set off, following a faint trail along the river that gradually rose toward a ridge. The jungle grew denser with each step, branches and vines brushing against them. The forest floor uneven and littered with fallen leaves and roots. Occasional animal calls echoed around them, adding an eerie rhythm to their trek. About mid-morning. The ridge revealed a breathtaking view. Beyond it lay a series of jagged cliffs and the entrances to what appeared to be natural caves. Water trickled down from the higher elevations, feeding into small streams that cut across the landscape. Jason paused to admire the scene. This is incredible. The caves are right there, just waiting for us to explore. Marcus raised the camera. We need to capture every angle. Nobody's going to believe this unless they see it. Ethan carefully surveyed the route. We should approach one at a time. Watch for loose rocks and uneven ground. Jason led the way, descending carefully toward the nearest cave entrance. The air grew cooler as they approached, carrying a faint scent of damp stone and minerals. Inside, the cave walls were rough and jagged, and the floor was slippery with moss and condensation. Light from their headlamps reflected off mineral deposits, creating strange shadows that danced across the walls. Marcus crouched to photograph intricate patterns etched into the stone. Look at these carvings. They're old. Really old. Whoever made these knew exactly what they were doing. Ethan moved cautiously, scanning the walls and ceiling for signs of instability. Stay alert. Caves like this can collapse without warning. And we don't know what else might be living in here. Deeper inside, the cave opened into a large chamber. Stalactites hung from the ceiling, and stalagmites rose from the ground like frozen waterfalls. In the center was a stone altar, covered in moss but still showing signs of deliberate design. Around it were carvings of animals, celestial symbols, and humanoid figures engaged in rituals. Jason approached the altar carefully. This is amazing. It's like stepping back in time. Everything here. It tells a story, but we need to figure out which one. Marcus circled the chamber, photographing every detail, while Ethan sketched the layout and noted any unusual features. The chamber was silent except for the drip of water echoing from above. The air felt heavy, almost charged, as if the place remembered the footsteps of those who had come before. After exploring the chamber, they moved to a smaller tunnel leading deeper into the cave system. The passage narrowed, forcing them to crouch and squeeze through tight spaces. The walls were damp, and water ran in small rivulets along the ground. Every step echoed, amplifying the sound of their movement and making the space feel alive. Suddenly, Marcus stopped, pointing to a faint glow ahead. Do you see that light? It's not our headlamps. They approached cautiously, and the tunnel opened into a hidden grotto. Bioluminescent fungi covered the walls, casting a soft, greenish-blue light across the chamber. A small underground stream flowed gently through the grotto, its waters shimmering in the glow. The effect was surreal, like walking into another world entirely. Jason knelt by the stream, cupping a handful of the cool water. This place, it's untouched. No human should have been here in decades, maybe centuries. Ethan examined the fungi. It's incredible. Entire ecosystems like this can exist hidden from the outside world. The jungle is full of secrets, and this grotto is one of them. Marcus couldn't stop taking photos. The light, the water, the carvings we saw earlier. This is beyond anything I imagined. This is the kind of discovery that defines an explorer's life. They spent several hours documenting the grotto and the chambers they had already explored. Jason made careful notes. Marcus captured images, and Ethan mapped the passageways. The deeper they went, the more the jungle outside seemed to fade, replaced by the timeless stillness of the caves. As evening approached, the friends decided to retreat to the valley above. The jungle had begun to darken, shadows lengthening, and the nocturnal chorus of animals growing louder. They climbed back to the ridge and followed the river downstream toward their previous campsite. The forest alive with the sounds of the night. By the time they reached their camp, fireflies were dancing in the air, and the distant roar of the waterfall had grown louder in the darkness. They set up a small fire, ate a simple meal, and reflected on the day's discoveries. Jason stared into the flames. We've seen ruins, caves, hidden Every step is like uncovering a lost piece of history. I can't wait to see what tomorrow brings. Ethan nodded, still scanning the surrounding jungle. We have to respect it. The jungle rewards curiosity but punishes carelessness. Stay vigilant. Marcus smiled, adjusting his camera. This adventure, it's everything we dreamed of. And somehow, it feels like we're just getting started. The night settled over the valley, the jungle alive and watching. Sleep came slowly, filled with dreams of ancient carvings, hidden waterfalls, glowing fungi, and whispers of a civilization long forgotten. Outside, the jungle whispered and waited, promising more secrets and adventures yet to be discovered. Scene 5 *. Dawn broke slowly. The jungle bathed in a muted golden light as Jason, Marcus, and Ethan stirred from their tents. The sound of the waterfall below the valley provided a constant, soothing backdrop, blending with the morning calls of birds and the faint rustle of animals beginning their day. The air was thick and humid, carrying the scent of damp earth moss and tropical flowers. Jason was the first to check the map, tracing the route with his finger. Today, we follow the river further upstream. According to this, there's a plateau beyond the next ridge, overlooking a series of ancient structures. The map suggests it's a complex network of buildings and ceremonial spaces. Marcus adjusted his camera strap. A complex? That sounds like an entire forgotten city. I can't believe we're actually going to see it. Ethan tightened the straps on his backpack and checked the GPS readings. We need to be careful. As the terrain rises, the paths get steeper and more unstable. One wrong step could mean serious trouble. They set off along the river, carefully navigating around roots and rocks, the thick jungle pressing in on all sides. Every so often, they encountered signs of wildlife tracks in the mud, broken branches, and distant calls, but nothing approached closely. The jungle felt alive, watching them silently as they moved deeper into its heart. By late morning, the terrain became steeper, forcing the friends to climb rocky slopes and scramble over fallen trees. The sun filtered through the canopy, casting shifting shadows that made the forest feel both magical and treacherous. Jason led the way, machete in hand, testing each step before committing his weight. Marcus followed closely, documenting the climb, while Ethan scanned for hazards and noted landmarks. After several hours, they reached the ridge and paused to catch their breath. Below them stretched a hidden plateau, partially obscured by thick vegetation. Through gaps in the foliage, they could make out stone walls, overgrown pathways, and structures that seemed impossibly ancient. Jason's eyes widened. This is incredible. An entire settlement, preserved by the jungle. We're the first humans here in decades, maybe centuries. Marcus raised the camera, capturing the breathtaking view. Every angle, every shadow, every structure. It's like stepping into another world. Ethan studied the terrain. We need a plan. The settlement is massive, and we don't know what's inside. Let's move carefully, document everything, and stay together. Descending into the plateau, they found the main path, partially covered by moss and roots. Ancient stone walls flanked the route, their carvings faded but still visible, depicting scenes of rituals, animals, and celestial symbols. Small alcoves and open courtyards hinted at the settlement's original purpose. a blend of residential, ceremonial, and communal spaces. Jason paused at one courtyard, brushing away debris to reveal a sunken stone platform. This could have been an altar or a gathering space. The craftsmanship, it's remarkable. Whoever lived here had skill and knowledge. Marcus moved around the courtyard, photographing carvings, walls, and the platform itself. The level of detail is incredible. Every corner tells a story. Ethan examined the surrounding structures, noting potential hazards and areas of interest. We need to map this carefully. Paths could collapse, floors might be unstable, and wildlife could be hiding in the shadows. Keep your eyes open. They explored the settlement slowly, documenting courtyards, chambers, and small stone dwellings. In one building, they discovered remnants of pottery, faded murals, and a small stone chest partially buried under debris. Jason carefully opened it, revealing a collection of carved figurines, some depicting humans, others animals or mythical creatures. These are incredible, Jason whispered. Every piece tells a story. This civilization, it existed for centuries, and the jungle has kept it hidden all this time. Marcus continued photographing while Ethan carefully noted the positions of artifacts, mapping their locations for future study. The settlement seemed larger than the map had indicated, each new discovery revealing more of its complexity and beauty. As afternoon approached, the jungle's humidity increased, the air heavy and difficult to breathe. The friends paused near a small stream running through the settlement, replenishing their water and resting. The valley below was alive with sounds, the distant roar of waterfalls, birds calling, and the subtle movements of unseen animals. Jason looked toward the dense trees beyond the settlement. We've seen a lot today, but I have a feeling there's even more. The jungle always hides something just out of sight. Ethan nodded. We need to plan the next leg carefully. The deeper we go, the more dangerous it gets. But the discoveries, they're worth the risk. Marcus, adjusting his camera, smiled. Every photo, every sketch, every note. This is why we came here. To witness the jungle, the ruins, and to share it with the world. As evening fell, the friends set up a small camp within the safety of the ruins. The jungle darkened around them, the sounds of nocturnal animals growing louder and more complex. They shared a quiet meal, reflecting on the day's discoveries and the hidden history they had uncovered. Jason stared into the fire, its glow flickering against the stone walls. We're walking through history, living it, and tomorrow, we'll go even deeper. Ethan, scanning the perimeter, added, Stay alert. The jungle is alive, and it's watching. Every sound, every shadow. We need to respect it and move cautiously. Marcus adjusted his camera one last time before settling in. This adventure, it's everything we imagined, and more. The jungle is alive. The ruins are ancient, and we're part of it now. The night settled over the plateau, the jungle alive with unseen movement. Sleep came slowly, dreams filled with hidden chambers, stone carvings, cascading waterfalls, and the whispers of a civilization long forgotten. Outside, the jungle whispered and waited. promising that the adventure was far from over and that even greater mysteries lay ahead. Scene 6. Asterisk. The following morning, the jungle was bathed in a soft golden light, with mist still clinging to the leaves and undergrowth. Jason, Marcus, and Ethan emerged from their tents, stretching and preparing for another day of exploration. The sounds of birds, insects, and the distant waterfall filled the air, creating a symphony that was both calming and electrifying. Asterisk. Jason pulled out the map, tracing the next path with his finger. The main ruins extend further north, toward the ridge we saw yesterday. Beyond that ridge, the map shows a series of hidden terraces, possibly used for agriculture or ceremonial purposes. If we can reach them, we might uncover even more of this lost civilization. Asterisk. Marcus adjusted his backpack and checked the camera. Terraces, hidden structures. This is the kind of stuff explorers dream about. We need to document everything carefully. Asterisk. Ethan studied the GPS coordinates and compared them to the map. The slope looks steep, and the terrain is unstable in places. Watch every step and stick together. The jungle is unpredictable. Asterisk. They began their trek along the river, which wound its way through dense foliage, small streams, and rocky outcroppings. Roots and vines twisted across their path, making each step a careful calculation. Birds flitted overhead, and occasional rustling in the underbrush reminded them that the jungle was teeming with life. Asterisk. After a few hours, they reached the base of the ridge. The climb was challenging, with loose rocks and slippery moss-covered stones. Jason led the way, testing each foothold, while Marcus documented the climb and Ethan carefully mapped their route. Asterisk. Reaching the top, they were greeted by a breathtaking view, a series of stone terraces carved into the hillside, overgrown with vegetation but clearly once maintained. Some terraces held the faint outlines of structures or ceremonial spaces, while others were flat and wide, possibly used for gathering or agriculture. Asterisk. Jason's eyes widened. This is incredible. Terraces like these, they had to be carefully engineered, and the jungle has preserved them perfectly. Asterisk. Marcus raised the camera. Every angle, every shadow. It's like stepping back in time. I can't wait to show this footage. Asterisk. Ethan scanned the terraces carefully. We need to be cautious. Some areas might be unstable. Stick to the main paths and watch for loose stones or hidden drops. Asterisk. They explored the terraces methodically, documenting stone walls, carved steps, and remnants of what appeared to be ancient dwellings. In one section, Jason discovered a partially buried stone sculpture depicting a human figure with intricate adornments. Asterisk. This civilization. They were skilled artisans, Jason whispered. Every piece tells a story. We're uncovering a culture that time forgot. Asterisk. Marcus photographed the sculpture from every angle, while Ethan mapped the terrace layout and noted potential hazards. The higher they climbed, the more expansive the view of the valley below, with the waterfall in the distance and the river winding through the jungle. Asterisk. By midday, the sun was high, casting dappled light through the canopy. The jungle's sounds intensified: birds calling, insects buzzing, and the occasional distant roar of a predator. The friends paused to rest and hydrate. taking in the beauty and complexity of the terraces. Jason looked toward the next ridge. If we can reach that area, the map indicates a central ceremonial site. That's where we'll likely find the most significant structures and carvings. Ethan adjusted his compass and GPS device. It's going to be challenging. The path is steep, and the vegetation is dense. But the rewards. If the map is accurate, we're about to uncover something extraordinary. The climb to the central ceremonial site was arduous. Vines wrapped around trees and rocks, and the ground was slick with dew and moss. Jason led the way, cutting through thick undergrowth, while Marcus followed, documenting every moment. And Ethan scouted for stability and safety. Finally. They reached the top, and their breath caught at the sight before them. A large stone plaza stretched out, partially enclosed by walls covered in intricate carvings and murals. The center featured a massive stone altar, surrounded by smaller platforms and ceremonial spaces. The carvings depicted celestial events, animals, and scenes of communal gatherings. Jason stepped forward carefully, running his hands over the carvings. This is extraordinary. The level of detail, the preservation. It's like stepping into the past. Marcus photographed every surface, the camera clicking rapidly. Every angle tells a story. Every shadow, every line. It's like the jungle has kept this place frozen in time. Ethan examined the area carefully. We need to respect this site. It's fragile and ancient. Every step we take should leave no trace. The friends spent hours exploring the ceremonial site, documenting the carvings, structures, and terraces. As the sun began to lower in the sky, the jungle's humidity intensified, and the sounds of nocturnal animals began to stir. Jason looked at the valley below. We've discovered so much already, but the jungle always has more secrets. Tomorrow, we follow the river further, deeper into the unknown. Ethan nodded. Stay alert. The jungle rewards curiosity but punishes carelessness. Every sound, every shadow. We must remain vigilant. Marcus smiled, adjusting his camera. Every photo, every note. This adventure is everything we imagined. The jungle is alive, the ruins are ancient, and we're witnessing it firsthand. As night fell over the terraces, the jungle came alive with unseen movement. Sleep came slowly, dreams filled with stone altars, hidden carvings, cascading waterfalls, and whispers of a civilization long forgotten. Outside, the jungle whispered and waited, promising that even greater discoveries lay ahead, and the adventure was far from over. Scene 7, the first light of dawn barely penetrated the dense jungle canopy as Jason, Marcus, and Ethan stirred from their tents. The air was thick with humidity and the faint scent of damp earth and vegetation. Morning mist clung to the terraces, giving the ancient ruins an almost mystical glow. The distant roar of the waterfall provided a constant grounding rhythm. Jason unfolded the map and pointed toward the next objective. Today, we follow the river further upstream. The map suggests there's a hidden gorge and possibly an underground tunnel system carved into the cliffside. If we can find it, it might lead to even more undiscovered structures. Marcus checked his camera and adjusted the lens. Underground tunnels. That's incredible. Imagine what's waiting for us down there. Ethan double-checked their GPS coordinates. Caves or tunnels like that can be extremely dangerous. Collapse, flooding, wildlife. We have to move carefully and be ready for anything. They packed their gear, carefully securing ropes, headlamps, and climbing equipment, then set off along the river. The path grew rugged, with rocks jutting out at odd angles and roots forming natural obstacles. Every step demanded attention, and the jungle seemed to close in around them, the foliage dense enough to obscure the sky. About mid-morning, they reached a narrow gorge carved by the river. The walls rose steep and sheer on either side, moss and vines clinging to the stone. A faint tunnel entrance, partially hidden by hanging vegetation, appeared at the far end of the gorge. Jason approached first, testing the ground. This must be it. Looks like the entrance has been untouched for decades. Marcus documented every angle with his camera, the lens capturing the interplay of light and shadow on the stone. Ethan carefully inspected the tunnel entrance, testing for stability. It's fragile. Move slowly and watch every step. The floor could be uneven or unstable. Entering the tunnel, the temperature dropped noticeably, and the air felt damp and heavy. The walls were lined with ancient carvings, depicting scenes of hunting, rituals, and celestial events. The friends moved cautiously, headlamps illuminating the intricate stonework. Jason traced his fingers along the carvings. These people, they left behind incredible stories. The craftsmanship is beyond what I expected. Every figure, every symbol, it's a narrative frozen in stone. Marcus took dozens of photographs, capturing each detail. Ethan mapped the tunnel's twists and turns, making careful notes of every junction and chamber. The passage narrowed in places, forcing them to crouch, and widened into small chambers where water dripped from the ceilings, creating small pools on the uneven floor. Hours passed as they explored, the tunnel twisting and turning through the cliffside. Strange, faint sounds echoed through the passage, distant water, the occasional scuttling of unseen creatures, and a low hum that seemed almost deliberate. The friends remained vigilant, every step measured and deliberate. Eventually, the tunnel opened into a large cavern. Stalactites hung like jagged teeth from the ceiling, and a subterranean river flowed through the center, its waters sparkling faintly in the headlamp light. On the cavern walls were murals unlike any they had seen before, depicting complex ceremonies, astronomical observations, and detailed depictions of daily life. Jason crouched to examine a series of carvings, depicting figures performing rituals under a night sky. This civilization understood the stars and their rituals. They were highly organized, almost sacred. Whoever lived here, they were advanced in ways we're only beginning to understand. Marcus photographed every section, careful to avoid touching the fragile walls. Ethan took detailed notes, measuring the dimensions of the cavern and the river's path. The place felt alive, the air heavy with centuries of history and mystery. They explored further, discovering smaller side tunnels and hidden chambers filled with artifacts, stone figurines, remnants of pottery, and worn tools. Each discovery added to the story of a civilization that had vanished yet left an enduring mark on the landscape. As evening approached, the friends knew they had to retreat before darkness engulfed the jungle above. They retraced their steps carefully, exiting the tunnel and emerging into the fading light of the gorge. The air felt warmer, the jungle alive with the sounds of nocturnal creatures beginning to stir. They set up a small camp near the gorge's edge, gathering firewood and preparing a simple meal. The fire's glow illuminated their tired but exhilarated faces as they reflected on the day's discoveries. Jason stared into the flames. Every step we take, every tunnel we enter, it's like walking through history itself, and tomorrow the jungle will show us more. Ethan adjusted his gear, scanning the surrounding jungle. Stay alert. The jungle is alive, and it's unpredictable. We've learned a lot, but we can't let our guard down. Marcus smiled, camera resting beside him. Every moment out here is a story. Every photograph, every note. It's proof that the jungle still holds secrets waiting to be discovered. The night settled over the gorge, the jungle alive with movement and sound. Sleep came slowly, dreams filled with hidden tunnels, ancient carvings, subterranean rivers, and whispers of a civilization long forgotten. Outside, the jungle whispered and waited, promising that the adventure was far from over and that even greater mysteries lay ahead. The scene 8 *. The following morning, the jungle was alive with movement. Sunlight filtered through the dense canopy, highlighting dew-soaked leaves and glistening vines. Jason, Marcus, and Ethan broke camp quickly, energized by the discoveries from the gorge and underground tunnels. The river beside them glimmered in the early light, its flow steady and calming amidst the chaos of the jungle. Jason unfolded the map, tracing the next leg of their journey with a finger. We follow the river upstream again, past the gorge. There's supposed to be a large plateau with additional structures, perhaps the main ceremonial center of this civilization. Marcus adjusted his camera strap, eager to capture every detail. If the map is right, we're about to uncover the heart of the settlement. This is the stuff explorers dream about. Ethan studied the terrain ahead. The slope is steep, and the vegetation is dense. Stay close, watch every step, and keep an eye out for unstable ground or wildlife. They began their trek, moving carefully along the riverbank. Roots, rocks, and fallen branches created natural obstacles, and the jungle seemed to close in around them, alive with rustling leaves and distant animal calls. Each step required attention, every sound amplified in the dense forest. Hours passed as they navigated the jungle, climbing over rocks and squeezing through narrow passages. The river wound through the terrain, guiding them toward the plateau indicated on the map. Mist began to rise from the river, adding a mystical quality to their surroundings. Finally, they reached the base of the plateau. The terrain was rugged, the slope steep and covered in thick vegetation. Jason led the way, machete in hand, cutting a path through vines and overgrowth. Marcus documented the climb with his camera, while Ethan scouted for hazards, ensuring each step was safe. Asterisk at the top, the friends were greeted by a breathtaking sight. A vast plateau stretched before them, dotted with stone structures, ceremonial platforms, and terraces. The jungle had reclaimed much of it, but the scale and craftsmanship of the ruins were undeniable. Asterisk Jason exhaled, awestruck. This is it. The heart of the settlement. Everything we've seen so far led to this. Asterisk Marcus raised his camera, capturing wide shots of the plateau and close-ups of the intricate carvings on stone walls. Every detail, every shadow. It's like stepping into history itself. Asterisk Ethan surveyed the area carefully. The structures are ancient, but we need to move carefully. Some areas might be unstable, and wildlife could be hiding in the shadows. Respect the space. Asterisk they explored the plateau systematically, documenting each building, altar, and terrace. Carvings depicted celestial events, animals, daily life, and ritual ceremonies, revealing a civilization both sophisticated and deeply spiritual. Jason discovered a large stone platform in the center, surrounded by smaller platforms and ceremonial spaces, suggesting this was the main gathering area. Asterisk this platform. It's massive, Jason said, tracing the carvings with his fingers. Whoever built this, they had incredible skill and vision. The jungle preserved it, but it's clear they intended this to last. Asterisk Marcus photographed every angle, while Ethan mapped the plateau's layout and marked potential hazards. The friends moved carefully, aware of the delicate balance between discovery and preservation. Asterisk as the sun began to lower in the sky, the jungle's sounds shifted. Nocturnal animals started stirring, creating a symphony of chirps, croaks, and distant calls. The friends decided to set up camp near a natural clearing on the plateau, protected by stone walls and large trees. Asterisk by evening, the fire was crackling, casting warm light on the ancient stones. The friends shared a quiet meal, reflecting on the journey so far. Asterisk Jason stared into the flames. Every step we've taken, every tunnel, terrace, and ruin. It's like we're walking through the pages of history. And this plateau? It's the crown jewel of what we've found. Asterisk Ethan nodded. Stay vigilant. The jungle is alive and unpredictable. The discoveries are amazing, but danger is always present. Respect it, and it will reward you. Asterisk Marcus smiled, adjusting his camera one last time before settling down. This adventure. It's everything we imagined, and more. The jungle, the ruins, the history, it's all here, waiting for us to witness it. Asterisk night fell over the plateau, the jungle alive with movement and sound. Sleep came slowly, filled with dreams of stone altars, hidden carvings, cascading waterfalls, and the whispers of a civilization long forgotten. Outside, the jungle whispered and waited, promising that even greater mysteries lay ahead.